All right, Israel, Tawab, tune in. Hope everybody is doing Tawab today. Shout out Kawakav and his congregation in Guatemala, the brothers and sisters that he teaches from Cali to Georgia. Hope everybody is strong and fighting the battles. Shout out also to SOW family in Virginia, Kazakia, SOW family Houston, Quatazap, and SOW family Rochester, Zion. Allah. I hope everybody's doing Tawab today and staying strong. Brothers and sisters in this truth, just keep fighting the good fight. I know it's a grind. We're in those dog days of August or summertime. The weather's beating us up day to day. It's sometimes it can be a grind. Stay on point and stay in the spirit, but we got to continue forward. As you know it, we're looking at another class about that 3 deceivable and 1 honest man. Believe me, I'm not here just to sit back and stretch classes and stretch Bible angles. I promise you that's not the reason. There's a lot of meat here in this class that needs to be extracted. And I'm personally taking as much time as possible to try to extract everything as much as I possibly can so Israel can see this picture as clearly as possible. I just don't think, one, I know this topic hasn't been taught at all. And 2, I don't think when we're in these classes, I hope and pray that everyone from myself down can be humble enough to ask themselves, are you really as honest and transparent about how you process things and look at things as possible? I truly hope that there's humility and there's self-analyzation, and we have the capacity to see what's inside of us, for not for my good, but for y'all good, for all of ours good. Okay, we're gonna go back. We've already did all the deceivable natures, all the concepts that deal with why the word doesn't actually stick in our minds. Yeah. Don't forget, the whole parable of the seed and sower explains how there's 3 types of archetypes. There's 4 types of archetypes in general in this world. And 3 of those archetypes are deceivable, meaning the reason that the word of Christ doesn't stick inside of you and fully grow to its maturation is because of different aspects of ourselves that are not willing to be honest and open about what's inside of us. Because we lie and we choose to believe the lie of comfort, riches, the belief that our way is better. Whatever your vice is, the root of that vice is a lie that you feed. But then there's only one individual archetype. When I say an archetype, it's the way a person thinks, or it's a way a person chooses to think.
The typical approach that personality type, or that pathway goes.
And that's because I don't want to sit back and make it like everybody wakes up and has it. It's an archetype and a mindset that you choose to give yourself to. Yeah. And if you choose to do it the right way, now the seed, which is the word, can properly enter your mind, because the ground is your mind. Yeah. The ground is how you process. If you do things the right way and process things the right way, then the message can properly grow and grow to its full potential. Everybody that comes to these classes, they say they want to grow, right? They say they want to get closer to Christ, and they want to grow, and they want to produce good works. Everybody says it. So if everybody is sincere and wholehearted about wanting to grow, sincere and wholehearted about change, and working on what's inside of them, scripturally, we're going to go into what it takes to actually gain the Most High's favor and attention so we can eventually grow and be the best versions of ourselves we can. So, Matthew 13 and 23, please.
Matthew 13 and 23. But he that receives seed in the good ground is he that hears the word.
So there's one archetype that actually grows, that actually can receive the information and actually benefit from the information, or can receive the information and maximize themselves in serving Christ. Read on.
And understandeth it,
Mm-hmm.
which also bear fruit, and bringeth forth, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30.
So everybody that grows has to have a particular archetype, has to have a particular way of looking at things, has to have a humble way to process the word in order to grow. Now, the difference in each and every one of us is our capacity to grow. He says some people will bring about 30-fold, others 60, and others 90.
30.
100.
I'm sorry. So it's 30, 60, or 90. So the difference is in the caliber and what you can bring to the table. But the mental archetype is the same. There is a certain way that you have to look at things. There's a certain way that your mind has to process things in order for the Most High to honor you. And that's something we have to be conscious of. So this is important because everybody wants to grow, or everybody says they want to grow, but is everybody doing that which is necessary to grow? Now,
Having this definition of
what?
archetype.
Okay.
Archetype, a universal pattern,
Okay.
model, or prototype.
So there is a prototype of men and women who understand this word, receive it, and grow from the word. And there's archetypes of men and women who read the scripture and it just doesn't stick. And you don't learn it, you don't receive the message, and you're not able to grow from the message. We've been going on a long trek. It's been a 10-class trek on the deceivable nature. But we're here now. Now we're here towards the answer phase of the situation.
When you say answer phase, a lot of times people see the classes like not desperate, but we're emphasizing or we're detailed and crystal clear, visual, make the problem apparent, try to make the problem apparent and clear.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people lose attention, but you got to maintain attention because then you have the solution.
I know.
The
And
solution.
a lot of times people don't want to get past how correction feels.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why you can't grow. So let's get back on the point. Let's let that go and go to Luke chapter 8 and verse 15. Luke chapter 8 and verse 15.
God. Luke chapter 8, verse 15 reads.
Like I said, every class that we're going on this topic, there is significant information to learn if parties are willing to learn. I'm not just regurgitating concepts for the hell of it. So read that, sir.
God. Matthew chapter 8, verse 15 reads.
Matthew 8 and 15 is Luke's version of Matthew 13 and 23. So it's the same explanation, but given little more caveats and details to the archetype of the men and women who can process this information and grow from the word. I promise you we'll be in class, and there's a group of people that you see can see the information, and other folks have this deer in a headlights mindset. It's like the information is going right over their heads, or they're thinking about something that's being said, or thinking about what you ate at lunch. You're thinking about the lunch you ate, or what you're going to eat for dinner, and you can't stay in the present enough to process the information. Or men are dozing off. There's a lot of dozers here. So, with that being the case, all those answers doesn't have a person lock in to really understand the information you need to learn. So, read on.
Luke chapter 8, verse 15 reads. But that on the good ground are they, which in an honest and good heart.
It says, which in an honest and good heart, read on,
Having heard the word, keep it and bring forth fruit with patience.
So we're going to push back certain parts of the verse and focus on the mindset of the individual who can process the information is honest and of a good heart. And when you dig into the details of what an honest person is, honesty connects with the word truly or to be true. So being honest is also being true. So when you tie in honesty and being true, it ties in the alignment. Because in order for the message to stick in your head, in order for the word to actually be plentiful in your life, you have to have an alignment, a connection between your words, the things you say, the message you bring out, how you talk has to be in step with your actions. We're still dealing with spirituality and pleasing Christ. And he's explaining what has to be true and honest. Your mind, how you process things. We know the seed is true. We know the word is pure. We know Christ's word is pure, right? So if Christ's word is pure, how do you have to be in order to receive pure knowledge and pure wisdom? In order to receive pure wisdom, you have to be connected and aligned with your words, your actions, and with reality.
To be acceptable to Christ and Spirit of God.
Well, acceptable, yes, but for the purest word to actually grow and get deep enough into the earth. Think about people who grow seeds and plant seeds. Don't you have to put a seed very deep in the earth for it to actually grow and really, really take root in the soil? If you put some seed on the top of the soil, is it going to really grow? You take the risk of losing that time, effort, and seed if you don't get it deep down in that earth, right? That earth has to be proper and the right type of earth for this good seed. It ain't the seed's fault, is it? When you're planting, is the seed wicked? It's gnarly dirt. It's lazy effort. Something is getting in the way of that seed going down. The word is flawless, but we're not. But what is it about how we do things that's flawed? It's how we process the message. It's how we process the word. Because everybody, have you ever seen those, been in those group exercises? When one person says a word to one person, and it's got to go to 40 people.
Telephone.
How many times is the word the same from the beginning to the end?
Not always.
What does it prove? Everybody has a weird damn processor. People have weird ways, backward ways of processing a pure statement. And this is what Christ is saying in us. So we can say the same uniform concept to everybody, but everybody processes it different. And how you process it will determine how well you execute the word.
But that's in the scriptures also because people are getting the parables.
Yeah.
And some thought the parables were gardening tips. Yeah, that's the truth. People are getting the parables about seeds and sowing. Well, this is about gardening tips.
Yeah.
But some people just think he's just going off telling stories with no point.
And how a person processes it, whether a person thinks it's a gardening story, or he's just saying some jibber jabber, or they can't get past how he looked because he wasn't a handsome guy. How do they process the message? 3 out of 4 times, people are processing it what? Wrong. And then, if you think about that, then think about how you process the word in different categories. How many of us can see an information clear as day in one category? But in another category, it just doesn't make sense and you keep failing it. Some of us can sit back here and take this concept and apply it in your diet and eating clean. And you can understand discipline and sacrifice and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But when it comes to working out, the wisdom don't make no sense. Or you can reverse it. When it comes to working out, I see the spirit all the way. But when it comes to humility, you can be humble enough to ask somebody in the gym to show you the correct form when doing squats. But when it comes to sit back here and figure out the correct form and how to study, I can't talk to nobody. People do it all the time.
Right.
How can you be humble in the gym and proud as hell when it comes to reading books and studying? That's just one minor aspect of how our words, actions, and our reality are all thrown off. And if your reality, your capacity to see yourself in comparison to the Most High's demand of you, if you can't sit back here and clearly see what you are and what your capacity is in comparison to the demand the Lord has of you, how will you ever please Him? How will you ever create the arena to actually process this message and grow?
So you have to win on 3 levels.
Got it.
Because I mean, people doesn't.
But
Game,
I'm gonna say it's like this. I don't even want to go into gaming. What I want to do is this. Everybody's $1 million question is, how hard do I got to work to get a blessing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What do I got to give? And how much do I have to give to get recognized? Is that not everybody's zero-sum game? And for how? What do I have to give? What mindset do I have to be in? And how long do I have to do it? And then am I doing it enough? How do you know that your effort is sufficient?
Right.
Those are the questions that can determine the Most High recognizing you or not. And those questions, one, are never asked. I never get people saying them or how much harder do I have to work? How much more do I have to sacrifice and deny of myself for me to overcome this battle? I never get that question. In my 30 years of being in the Bible, never heard it. People don't come and ask the real questions. What do I really have to do to grow? What do I really have to change in myself? How much work do I have to put on? How much dedication do I have to put together? Let me sit back and ask you how to mimic the best way to do it. Nobody asked that question either. Nobody wants to sit back here and look at the individual or individuals who are successful in arenas that they're not. Nobody says them or Shamshuan or whoever. How much work do I have to put in to look at the things the way you guys look at? Nobody asks that question. So if you don't ask the question, it's because you don't want the answer. Why don't you want the answer? Because you told yourself somewhere that what you're giving is what? Enough. And then that's the delusion. Now you're out of reality. So if you're out of reality, that means out of this equation of work, action, and reality, your ground is uneven. The soil, which is your mind, isn't prepared to receive the lessons Christ intends for you to learn. So until your reality gets in balance with the Most High's expectations, and your actions get in balance with the level of work it takes in the proper reality, and then your words can align with the reality and the actions, then you can see something benefit you in your life. But do we do that? Do we give our mind to really get solutions? Or, like the scripture says, we have a zeal for the Lord, but not in what? Everybody wants to do good, but most of us want to do good the way we want to do good. Right? We want to do good in a way that makes sense to us. And then we're upset, dejected, when the Most High doesn't accept our ratty effort, which ties into the many of the classes Shamshuan pulled in about not being like Cain. Because what did Cain do? Cain sat back here and gave what he thought was best. Now, his effort was not enough and he got angry. And instead of sitting back here and changing his reality, because that's what being humble is. Humility is you have an idea you have an idea of what your reality is. But humility is like your reality is crap. Your reality is really a fantasy. And can you sit back here and allow a person to knock you off your pedestal? Knock you out of this lion spirit? Knock you out of the mindset that makes you think how much you're given is sufficient? Who is prepared to do that? And for those of us who are not prepared to do it, maybe you're not in the honest category. Maybe you're not in that person that the word is going into good ground. Maybe you're that person where the message is going into fallow ground or dirty ground. Maybe your mind is that stony ground or the thorny ground. But nobody wants to put themselves in that situation. One, because we're liars. Two, because we don't put enough work to earn the Most High's response. And this is so vitally important to understand. Let's just use studying for example. Everybody in this building would say they're studying. But are you studying enough of the message to actually stick? How can you say you're studying the best you can when you can't remember verses? When you can't even recollect words of a verse? Because a brother's answer would be, or sister, well, I don't have that photographic memory like yours would. Nobody's asking for a photographic memory. Neither do I have one. But if you're studying and you've given yourself to study it, you're going to tell me verses don't pop in your head or portions of verses don't pop in your head? And who doesn't have a computer device on their phone that will give you the actual verse as long as you type in a couple words in a verse? Am I right or wrong? So then if we're in the age of computers and screens and all this stuff, then what's your excuse for when negative things are popping in your head, you don't have a Bible verse to use to fight your thoughts? You're capping like uppercase is the answer. That's the truth. You're not in reality.
Right.
You're a liar. So as long as your version of what you think studying is doesn't align with real people's studying skills, you're going to be in a deficit. And if you're in a deficit, how are you going to grow? If what you think studying is enough is not what everybody else who is succeeding in studying do, then what are you going to do? You're going to keep living in your life? Telling yourself that studying this much is okay because it's enough for you?
Right.
Or are you going to keep allowing people to push you so that you can be better at that, so you can eventually, your reality can rise up so that now your work can start matching your reality? And your words and your communication and your solution can match your work, which matches your reality. Do you see how when our reality of the level of work we have to put in doesn't fit in with people who actually are successful in certain scenarios?
Right.
How many people sit back here and say they're eating clean? But then are you measuring your version of eating clean with the version of somebody who's actually losing weight and eating clean? Who does that? Do you measure yourself with somebody who is succeeding in arenas you're not? How else can you quantify reality? Be honest. How can you quantify reality if you don't measure up to people who are fixing the things you can't fix? And then once you find the person who's doing things better than you, do you sit back and submit your method and change your reality to their reality? The answer is no. But we'll see people. That's why the Most High is so great. Because he has all people, high rank, low rank, in all different forms of life can do things better than you.
Yeah.
It ain't just exclusive to rank. There's people that are way better with their hands than me. So am I going to sit back here and not follow a person who was more inclined to do that than me, I'd be an idiot too. This is why I almost broke my fingers sometimes at work doing jobs. Brothers to my right, remember, they would laugh at me because it was stupid. Why did you grab it like this, idiot? Now, they were all respectful. They never said, they never called me an idiot. But the action was idiotic. And I can own up to it. And you know what? If you're honest that your caliber of whatever you're doing isn't sufficient, maybe you can grow. But most of us have pride and can't accept that my caliber in whatever arena just ain't cutting it. If you can't operate in that mindset, you'll never grow. So that means you're not in that honest group. You're in one of the 3 deceivable groups. That's why I'm saying, if we're honest, you should be able to sit back and go through all of your works, everything you do for the Lord, and compare it with people who are successful in that. Why don't you do that? And learn how to get out of your reality, because your reality is killing you. It's stunting your spiritual growth. And this concept is not taught. All people want to do is read the Bible, get their own private interpretation, say in their own reality, and keep failing. And they'll fail long enough to say, you know what? I don't think the truth is for me. So the question is the truth not for you? Or is you can't be in the reality that you're in and expect to be successful spiritually? And if people are honest, you could see at least a couple things that you do that is ass backwards, that you're not humble enough to get answers from. So, honesty is an alignment between your words, actions, and reality. So as you're operating and doing your thing for the Most High, ask yourself, think of the person who does what you do way better. And then, are you going to be honest with yourself and say, hey, am I working as hard as that person? Are my actions as dedicated as that person? And am I talking about methods like this person is talking about methods? And if I'm not, then why am I angry that God isn't blessing me? The anger and the disgust about our life is lies. Why are you angry about the things you don't get when you don't put the work that the other person puts in? Yes, sir.
I think a lot of people are qualifying and put it, or the fallible object at hand is one's opinion.
Come on. But you know what the crazy thing is? Thank you. As we get into these topics a little bit more, a wise person is always looking for the greatest way to do it.
Right.
Is it about a method? People want to think it's about a method. It ain't about method. It's about amongst 50 people, who does it the best? Who's the most disciplined? Who's the most humble? There's a brother that I will not name, will sit back here and has been talking about health for years. And he's been hell-bent on eating right, eating clean, doing all these things. And most of the people in this building said that brother is overboard. He doesn't have to be that way. And then 5 years later, those same people got leaky guts. They're 50 pounds overweight. Belly's hanging out past their shoes. Belly's hanging out past their shoes. Nobody can tuck shirts in no more. Why can't the Jew tuck shirts in no more, huh? Because you know what? Everybody else's method is overboard. The person who does it the best, his method is overboard. You can still eat fried chicken, brother. No, that's overboard. That's not the spirit. I can still drink malt liquor. That's all good. I can still eat Cedos. Everybody talks that smack. Until everybody's operating like Larry Holmes flapping is sick, huh? Body's breaking down, huh? Then, I got the sugars. Oh, I don't know what to do. I got the sugars now. What am I going to do? I got the sugars. Now Israel got sugars, high blood pressure, insulin resistance, inflammation, joint inflammation. Now we sitting making crying about needing white man pill money, huh? Now everybody want to get pill money, huh? When if everybody just would have ate clean and lived by the extreme approach, there'd be less issues. But it's not just diet. It's all things. Everybody can talk opinion because pride is in the mix. It ain't about opinion. It's about whose way makes the most sense. And what I mean by most sense is the most spiritually productive. That's what leadership should be. But nobody lives that way. Because when a method is shown that's superior to yours, oh, that's just your opinion. Okay, then you keep being a loser and producing loser works. Because what you say is what most people think. Then you sit back here and operate at a low level of optimization. Because Christ and great men in Christ always strove for the greatest method and the greatest spiritual approach to get the most out of their service to the Lord. And we're going to go into the scriptures to show that and history. Honesty is an alignment between your words, actions, and reality. Then we go into alignment between your words and actions and reality. Because everybody swears they're doing enough until you compare them next to a person who does 3 times their work at 5 times of an effective rate. And then when that comparison is shown to you, then people get upset and get emotional. Then they get pissed off. Then they say, oh, you act like you're better than me. Then that low-level thinking comes in. Oh, you just think you're better than me. Okay, so you keep talking that and be the victim so you don't got to change what society. Right. Another definition is authenticity to self. People think when they say authenticity to themselves, they come off like I'm supposed to be real to myself. I'm keeping it real. If you keep it real, you keep it at 100, you're going to keep being a loser in the spirit. To be real to yourself is actually being honest with your limitations. We're going to go into authenticity to self. It requires being real with yourself about who you are, what you need, and your own shortcomings. How many people walk through these doors knowing what they can't do, knowing what they suck at, are honest about how deficient they are in so many things? How many people talk about that? Most people on planet Earth live their life trying to hide their shortcomings from the world. And this is why most people won't make the kingdom. Because if you're living your life trying to hide what you can't do, how will you ever grow? And when will you ever get out of your delusion? Yeah. You'll never get out of your delusion. You'll stay in your delusion. You'll be in your reality, and you'll be unable to grow. And the word of the Most High in Christ will never blossom in you. And that's the point. And this is why Christ said most people that get this word will never grow in it. And they'll leave. Because most people aren't willing to be honest with who they are. This is why when you check somebody, what do you get? Pride, snarky comments. Then you get deflection by you talking about what another person don't do. If you're going to be hell-bent on talking about what another person don't do you do the same thing for you? For everybody who is ultra scrutinous about what your husband doesn't do, about what brothers don't do you go home and say, damn, you know what? I said that brother was off and off and off, but I'm off in 10 more things than he is. Who does that? Nobody. What they do is don't talk about what another person doesn't do so they can feel good about what they don't do.
Right.
And all that is pride. And the Most High sees right through you. And everybody that got something to say about what another person don't do and lacks the capacity to see themselves, they're in delusion and they're not in reality. And if you're not in reality, how will your works ever get to an acceptable rate in the eyes of the Father? If you can't process the amount of work it takes to get blessed, if you can't fathom the mental requirements, your works will never fit and your words will never fit. And this is why people be in the church for 5, 10 years and don't grow at all. They look like the same dude. A lot of cats will be in the church for 5, 10 years and it look like they regress. Because they just can't see what's inside. They're not humble enough to get in reality. This is why when you go into Ecclesiastes 10, 18, and 19, that pride is tied into the deceivable nature. You got pride because you don't want to see the real you. A humble person is willing to own up to their shortcomings and see and accept who they really are and how decrepit and behind they really are. Because most people hate the idea to feel that you're 30 plus and you're behind. Who likes that feeling? Who likes to feel that you wasted 20 years of your life? Effing off. Feeling sorry for yourself. Chasing a vain dream. Living a lie. Now you have 10 things that you're behind on. Because that's the reality that people that have health issues start realizing. If I'm going to get my health right, damn, I got to get my magnesium up. I got to get my potassium up. I need trace minerals. I need vitamin D and K2. I have to sit back and do this for years. I have to work out. I have to drink more water. I don't like water. Black folks don't drink no water. Hell no, we don't drink no water. I got to eat green. I got to eat green stuff. Black folks don't eat no green stuff. You think I'm lying? You know how many people I've dealt with that don't like to eat green? Listen, raise your hands if you've met somebody who doesn't like to eat things that are green. And the only thing black folks eat is they'll eat yellow. They'll eat corn. They'll eat corn in a can. They'll eat canned corn, but they will not eat anything but canned corn. Give them something healthy and fresh. I don't like how that tastes. I gotta put some salt on it and some pepper on it and drown it with damn ranch. I used to work with brothers who sit back here and will put the equivalent of a double hamburger ranch on a salad. I'm like, you might as well go get a hamburger and fries, dog. You neutralize everything the salad can bring to the table. What are you doing? Oh, I think for the flavor. But it wasn't like this. It was like, bro, what are you doing? You've neutralized the value. All the nutrients is not nutrient dense anymore. It's just calories. So what's the purpose of eating clean then? Now you're lying. And the brother would not sit back and say, damn, the fact that I'm eating all this ranch is a sickness. Let me change this. The people around me don't put that much ranch in. How come I put this much ranch in? Then it'll be like, oh, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
That's your opinion. I like doing it. This is my way. Is it your way, but is your way right? Is it the most optimal way to get healthy? No. Then people put the victim card. You just don't understand. Oh. What is it that I don't understand? That this is poor for your health?
No.
What's that?
No, so like I just want to give an example.
A personal testimony, man?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually, when I went transitioning to start eating salads, I'd eat a salad, but I'd still get a fry and eat a fry. And it was like
Eat the fry?
yeah, French
So
fries.
I mean French fries and
small
salad?
fry.
Hell yeah!
Large fry.
It's
That's a
mixed.
small one. Because I love fries, so I didn't want to let them go. But I'm like, hey, you know what? If I'm eating a salad, at least I'm eating something.
It neutralizes fitness in the fries or the reward for the salad.
I'm still doing good. That's
Hell yeah.
There you go.
But listen, I'm joking with you, but it's the damn truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth. You can't live that way. You're still living the lie. And you ain't the only one. You're just the only humble one willing to say it. We lie to ourselves every day. We're in delusion and say, why isn't the Lord blessing me? Why am I still sick? I'm still drinking Coca-Cola, but I have so much phlegm and mucus. Lord, help me. Take this sickness away from me. What the hell is going on? I'm praying to the Lord to take the sickness from me. And as soon as the white man sucks out all the mucus, guess where you're going to? I would like a 3-liter soda of Coca-Cola. It is so delicious.
Light on high, please. Yeah.
Dr. Pepper.
You ever see those? What are you doing? You're just putting back mucus into your body that got sucked out from your back. This is Israel all the time. But whether it's that or it's how we play with the flesh,
Yeah.
and the people that are successful don't do that.
Yeah.
But this is the delusion that people focus on. And because you play in the lie and we're not honest, Satan can exploit you. I keep drilling this point because this is the $1 million answer. Why some people grow and some people don't. I've been told, yeah, this person listens to class all the time. I'm like, why ain't this person growing? This person listens to class more than brothers. Then why aren't they growing? Something's wrong.
Yep.
If you keep listening to class all this time and you're not changing, you're not being quickened. Why aren't you being quickened and others are? Why aren't certain people just can't come out of their rut and others can sit back and get this word and take off? It's something wrong with how you process things. Every day we teach people or try to teach people to push themselves to the max to accomplish things. But you know one way that we're not honest in our shortcomings? And this is not to bash anybody, but we never succeeded in life.
Yeah.
How many of us came from the world, started something from beginning to end and finished it and was successful at it? This is what you should be asking. If you never succeeded in the world, how do you know how hard you have to work to succeed? If you came from the world and you were a fatherless child, lacked instructions, lacked finishing anything in the world, then why the hell don't you ask somebody how to help finishing something? Nobody asked that. Nobody asked, listen, can somebody show me how to finish and overcome this? Because I've never finished anything in my life. Who does that? Nobody, because we're all liars.
Yeah.
And because we're all liars, that means we're not honest. And if you're not honest, how can the spirit grow in you? How can you grow to your full potential? We walk around here not authentic to ourselves. And once again, the definition for authentic is it requires being real with yourself about who you are at the core. Most of us aren't real with who we are. We don't say that we're selfish, we're effeminate, we're emotional, we can't take correction. If you were a fatherless child and you never had a father in your life, you're going to tell me you know how to handle correction? How can nobody say it? How can nobody admits it? You know what? A lot of times in class or in counsel, I'm telling you what the problem is, and then you have to choose to accept it or not. Most counsel is like that. We got to sit back and figure it out, look you up and down, analyze you, and tell you what you are. And 80% of the Jew don't even accept what they're told.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you're not even looking to be honest with yourself. You look in the mirror and say, oh, I'm strong. I'm looking fly. I got wisdom. I'm in the spirit. I got some scripture. You can't tell me nothing. What good is Bible verses without honesty about who you are and what your shortcomings are? You're just putting lipstick on a pig. And that's what most of us do because we're not honest. Most of us that come to this truth are poor communicators. Horrible communication. We don't say words right. I met brothers that are mumble. You ever see like Dick Tracy out? They got mumbles like, people don't like that. Especially this new generation. They don't even say nothing. Can you talk and say what's on your mind? They don't do it, but they won't admit that I have a problem with expressing myself.
No, they get mad that nobody understands them.
Yeah.
What they do is,
You didn't read my mental telepathy?
No.
That's you the problem.
I'm
What kind of craziness is this?
not going to make the attempt to articulate the issue,
You got to know.
and then I don't articulate the issue, and then I'm mad that you're judging me, and I'm mad that you're wrong in your assessments about me.
That's another one. You were wrong. You were wrong, sir. That's not true. Well, then why don't you say what the damn problem
And
is?
I'll masterfully tell you how everything you said was wrong,
Okay.
but I'll never tell you what the issue is.
That's the point. You're a liar. And a lot of cats do that in the building, online, in VA, in Houston, in Rochester, in anywhere in USA. Because we're liars. But we expect the word to actually resonate and grow to full potential. You're delusional. Because most of us are not authentic to looking at ourselves in a mirror clearly. And if you can't see yourself in a mirror clearly, all the Bible verses in the world will not fix you.
Who can ask this question? It's not the whole class off. You're talking about looking at the mirror, like the Bible says. Like the Bible says.
Michael said it too.
He said, Michael definitely said it. Where's the issue? You have to.
He said it.
You
I'm
have,
looking in the man mirror.
but he wanted to.
He did. He wanted to.
That's the issue.
He did.
Because you're telling method to get a proper reaction and response from the Father. But the issue is you're trying to show someone something. But if they don't want to see it, then now we're in our situation.
And those are the three deceivable type of archetypes. The person that doesn't want to be honest is a liar. And they are deceivable. And they're going to walk around here with the Bible and the message in the vicinity of their spirit, but it never sticks. And they never grow. The ones who lie don't grow. You can see guys that don't grow. They're losing rank or they're stagnant rank. The Bible ain't picking up in them. They're not operating, they're not living the Bible. You can tell the person that's deceivable, they keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And then your brother say, oh, that's just this brother.
Yeah.
That's just how he does things. And when you start having to sit back here and just accept men for their weakness, that's because they are convinced with their lie. And the Most High is going to make their life miserable because they're going to keep living a lie. And in order for the men in the body to accept them, you have to accept that they're liars and this is what they're going to be. Right or wrong? Right. How many times do we counsel, well, this brother, that pattern, that archetype, that's just what he does. Who has heard that answer? That's just what his brother is. This is how he moves. You got to understand that's him. That's the liar. Because you can't reason with them until they realize and become authentic to themselves. So I'm really screwed up. And I got a lot of work to do. Listen, this is going to be part 6. I can't get past the beginning part.
But this is perfect.
I can't. Sorry. And listen, and I'm going to drive the hell out of this. I said it at the end of last class. But this is it right here, man. Everybody wants to know why they ain't growing. Why they don't get the fancy promotions at the Passover, at the Pesach. Everybody wants to know why. Every sister wants to know, how come I keep losing jobs? I'm in the same dead-end job. I'm not getting advanced. I'm not getting blessed. Everybody wants to know why I don't get blessed. Here is your answer. You are deceivable and you're lying to yourself.
God.
I'm setting it up, giving you a layup out.
Thank you. I appreciate the layup.
I gave you a free alley. That's what I'm talking about. I gave you a free alley.
Ecclesiastes 15 and 8. And then the second point is 20 and 26. Same book. Ecclesiasticus, Apocrypha, 15th chapter, 8th verse.
Ecclesiastes 15 and verse 8.
Uh-huh.
For she is far from pride.
So the spirit of wisdom and fulfillment and clarity in Christ and development more so, because you're saying wisdom opens up spirit of development, emotion.
Mhm.
Wisdom promotes men in every arena of life, health, familial situation,
Well,
life.
mhm.
It says she is far, meaning at a distance or goal, from a spirit of pride.
Mhm.
And you said pride is an incorrect assessment of self,
Yep.
right? A self-audited assessment. Not I'm creating or I'm believing in an idea or opinion, but it's based off of my singular perspective. I don't base off of anybody else's perspective that's around me. And I believe he went through the iron sharpened iron concept of the Shabbat.
Yep.
Right? So she is far from pride. So a prideful person does not get the development that the Lord wants for them. Second point,
And men that are liars cannot remember.
and this is the point you were going into. Men, now I've always read this. I'm like, man, this is a lie. He don't remember the scriptures. He don't remember because he be lying. But really, it's more than that.
Listen, the liar isn't like a little white lie.
Yeah,
The lie is I look at myself in the mirror every day
Yeah.
and I refuse to deal with the real me.
now I get it.
That's the liar. The liar is I refuse to own up to the fact that I have pride, that I'm selfish, that I'm hateful, that that I can't see the good in people.
The less in this point, maybe I'm wrong, but the lesson's not sticking because I'm lying to myself.
And the lesson doesn't stick because the ground isn't fertile. The ground isn't fertile because you're not humble.
Not myself.
You're not humble because you're a liar. So if you're a liar and you're not humble and you're not honest, the message can't stick.
And
And that's why you can't remember the Bible verse.
and a lot of time lies, people don't say this, but lies are often in the form of excuses. We want to be this one-dimensional concept of lying. A liar is a person who says something untrue or this happened, it didn't happen. I did not chop down the cherry tree, or I did not steal the candy bar, or I made an 80 on my test and I really made a 60. We're thinking that concept of lying.
Yeah.
But another concept of liar is a person that lies by omission. They don't give all the information, or they simply make excuses,
Or they choose just not to see what's really there.
which is the spirit of deceit.
Yeah.
So a person operating, you may not be telling a lie with your tongue, but how you're operating is in the spirit of deceit. And it's falsehood. Because I can never take a check, and a check is biblical honesty. So if I can't take biblical honesty, the answer is I have to be a deceitful person, which is a liar. So a liar cannot remember her. I mean, I can't actually stick. You said it has to stick. A person that can't remember, it doesn't stick. It's not just about memorizing scriptures. The application, the concepts aren't sticking, the execution is not sticking, because somewhere in my spirit, I'm making an excuse or I'm not clear with myself. So that's the first part. Now I want to go to chapter 20, verse 26, because it's the class of the spirit, this conversation is going in the same direction. This is where the low self-esteem comes from. Ecclesiastes 20 and 26.
Ecclesiastes 20, verse 26. The disposition of a liar is dishonor.
The disposition, that means the internal construction,
And that's what you present out the front.
the presentation, how you project yourself, your quote unquote.
How you choose to make people look at it.
Yeah,
Because your disposition is what you choose
yeah.
Wow.
for people to see. Your disposition, there shouldn't be an act. You should just be who you are.
Yeah.
That's how you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
If I have an ego problem, then let me sit back here and show my ego to get checked on.
But my disposition, because I have an ego or I'm filled with excuses, I will always defend my ego and I will always defend my excuses. And when you see me defending excuses and defending ego, that shows my disposition is not honest. I'm a defender of deceit, but self-deceit. So what are we saying? The disposition of a liar is what?
Dishonor.
Because an honorable person takes pains. An honorable person can humble themselves. An honorable person can take the cold-hearted, painful,
Truth about it.
ugly, disgusting-looking truth
You know why they can't?
about themselves. That's honorable.
You know why? Because they already can kind of see it. Didn't the scripture say, A person can see themselves way earlier than somebody else.
Said more than 7 watch.
More than 7 watchmen. But how can a person see themselves more than 7 watchmen unless you're honest?
Well, this
So if you're honest about, you can sit back here in the midst of your operation, and if you respond harshly a certain way or you respond angrily, if you're honest, you say, man, that was not ordered. That was not ordered. That was wrong. You're not supposed to say things.
Yeah.
But what do we get from men? You got a brother dead to rights. You know he's wrong. Everybody in the room knows he's wrong. And nobody can, and then the brother who's on the microscope just can't own up to the issue.
yeah, he has to pull the victim narrative.
It's the victim, or it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad thing. It's not that bad. I'm being bullied. I'm being picked on. Brothers don't understand what I'm going.
Or you never love him. The 3 classic cards to evade the truth.
Yeah.
You never loved me. It wasn't that bad. And then, of course, the classic, I'm the victim. You'll see I'm the victim. I'm this little boy from Georgia or Texas or New York, right? So the point is, the disposition of a liar or a person that's operating without authenticity.
And this is how he moved, how
Yeah.
she moved. It's
Spiritually.
the same thing. It's the same thing with a woman when you're trying to correct her, and all she's throwing out is what you don't do. Right? When you get a person to see where they're at, you got them dead to right. You know what? Even if you see something wrong with your husband, can you just make it about your correction that day? You couldn't choose another day to talk about what you think he needs to work on. Why in the heat of the battle? You got to throw about what he does.
Because I have to dilute the check. We are into
and to look how filthy I am.
yeah. Because
Because nobody wants to accept they're filthy, they're black-hearted, they're selfish, they're egotistical, they're proud, they are evil, they're evil intended.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to own up to the real. That's the truth. I really don't want to come out of myself. Nobody wants to keep it real. But that's keeping it real.
Right.
Not people want to keep it real by telling other people how off they are. Nobody keeps it real by expressing how filthy they are.
You never tell me the good I'm doing. That conversation pops up in the midst of the biblical Most High giving you the key. The key, look, the key's the key.
And this is why we're slowing it down. If you can't be honest with what's in you, the word will never grow. If the word will never grow in your mind, how do you expect to be accepted by the Heavenly Father? Please tell me. What people want to do is lie and say that because they go through the motions, the word is in you. And it's not. You wear all the fringes in the world, all the packs in the world, all the headdresses, all the dresses in the world, and still be filthy inside because you can't be honest about what's inside of your
But
spirit.
that's the path of Cain. That's why I love the fact that you and Charles wants
At the same damn time.
Most High is giving you, you're either this, the man of truth, the woman of truth, that is clear in their personal assessment. I may not be perfect in my assessment.
Right.
That's why the blessing is that I got people that can look at me like a camera.
Huh.
And then, man, 2,000 years ago, not 2,000 years, but a week ago you did this. Man, last year you said the same thing. Man, brother.
And this is why the Jew always walks around in camps. Like, oh, the Jews are always judgmental. They're always pointing the finger. They're always telling me how I'm off. But what the hell are you here for?
Right.
Then you must not have got the memo. Because the Bible memo says you're supposed to sit back here and get faithful are the scourges of a what?
Friend.
Of a friend. That's what the Bible says. But not to a proud person. Proud person can't take criticism. If you can't take criticism, how are you ever going to cleave to the Father?
And this is the point I want to get to.
Let's do it.
Right here.
Come on.
It said the disposition of a liar or deceitful or dishonest person or a person that operates without clarity. So I can't be real. Is dishonorable. We get that. But now read the second part.
And his shame. Who got it?
Oh, sorry. The disposition of a liar is dishonorable, and his shame is ever with him.
And this is the part that I think this is the most explosive part to me. His shame is ever means always with him. What does that mean? Whenever you tell somebody the truth, tell about how bad you made him feel. That means that your shame's always with you. You're always dwelling on
Yeah.
how bad someone made you feel.
And you know what's the crazy thing? We'll hold on to
I
that.
gotta make this
Right.
one point. I'm not trying to.
I'm telling you to drive that point. I'm trying to slow him down and you to drive that point.
Because
Say it again.
it said right here. Obviously, a deceitful liar, a person that's not clear, a person that operates and they're not 100% factual to themselves. I'm just not a factual guy. I'm unbelievable. I believe things that aren't realistic according to scripture. I'm an opinionated, I'm a man of opinion. Men of opinion, the Bible says all men are liars.
Mhm.
So his shame is ever with him. That means two things. Your shame's always there because you never what? You never fix it. Hell, I'm always eating burgers. I'm always eating fries. I'm always eating sugar drinks.
You're fat shaming me.
Listen, I'm never gonna.
The answer.
I'm never.
You're fat shaming me.
If I don't make the
You
change,
give me Lizzo answers out here. Right?
yes. Listen,
You give me Lizzo concepts.
if I don't make the changes,
Even she changed her diet.
because she had something wrong,
But the records, how about the records fell when she lost
a
weight?
little too late. She didn't take the time.
You know what I'm saying? Is she made money because people had sympathy for her.
Oh
weight.
no.
When she lost weight, all of a sudden her music don't pop.
Yeah,
How about it never pop? Anyway, we keep
What's
going.
good? I'm just saying. I'm trying to express that the shame ever with us is the low self-esteem that we walk around with. You don't have to be in prison with low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is a product of not fixing things. When you fix things, all of a sudden self-esteem comes. But I can't fix things because I can't take the check. The check, then you fix things, then the self-esteem goes up.
Listen, and there's more. Listen, the class
Yeah.
goes into a lot of details.
Got
Keep going.
But the point is, when it says the shame is ever with him, I know I have an issue in the back of my mind. I know what's really going on. In the back of we always say this, in my heart of hearts, this is what I meant. That was never my intention. Okay, you're right. It was not your intention. But because you didn't solve the issue, you're having these negative domino effects in your life. And those negative domino effects create the spirit of what? Shame. And once you operate and walk in shame for a period of time, it starts to actually.
I would say this about that shame. The shame happens because people see you for what a liar you are. Listen, you know the most embarrassing thing in the truth you can experience is when everybody knows you just don't get it and they just let you go. Have you seen how brothers operate sometimes with other guys that just can't figure it out? And logically, when a brother's just out the spirit, you know a long counsel comes behind a person being out the spirit. But then what they end up doing, they just sit back and they just let it go. And you sitting back here getting ready to get checked because you know a check's coming. And they just don't even check you. You know why? Because they just accept you don't got it. That's the most embarrassing thing to experience. You know, if a brother was trying to sit back and really put the work in with you, he would go toe to toe with your thinking. But when men stop going toe to toe with your thinking and let you be, what does that say about you? What that shows is they accept you just don't got it. They accept that you're just young. And you might hear brothers is young. You ever heard that? You guys raise your hand. Brothers is young, man. Just give him some time. He's ain't going, this is the brother. This is how he moves. I've heard it 1,000 times in regards to understanding why men trip out and flip out. Right or wrong? So do you want to be the guy on the other end where they just stop checking you because you're just young? And you're just perpetually young, but you're 30? You're perpetually young, but you're almost 30? Does that even feel good? When men just let you go? But that's what you put men in when you don't change. You force them to sit back here and just operate with you that way. That's shameful too. That's just the camp fool. That's just the camp baby. Right or wrong?
Right.
That's just the camp immature person. We're just going to work with this brother and work around him and deal with whatever he wants to bring to the table. Tell me if I'm lying. Tell me if we don't do that with men to this day. And that's shameful. Because you can't sit back here and deal with those men according to the spirit So you just deal with them like they're children, because they just can't figure it out. Go on.
And Proverbs 28 and verse 13 says this.
No, we got to keep going. We got to keep going. We got to keep going. Let that go. Go to Mark chapter 4, verse 20. There'll be another time for that.
Yeah. Well, you already pulled it last week. You should have pulled it Shabbat. You know the scripture. I was saying the point cap, well, he was right earlier. That's that.
Yeah, but we're just really getting started. But let's keep going.
Mark 4:20. And these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive.
So he says, these are the people who, when the word comes to them, the message actually sticks. Read again for verse 1.
From the top. And these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive.
But see, this is the funny thing. You're hearing the word and you're receiving it, but why are you receiving it? You're receiving it because you're honest. And you're honest with yourself, and your words and actions and reality are all aligned together. This is why the Luke was such a linchpin verse, because it connected everything together. It's not just the word just sticks. It's not that easy. There has to be humility and honesty in how you receive the word. If you don't have that, you can't grow. It explains why so many men and women are in here and it is the walking dead. It is zombies out. In The Walking Dead, they show their bodies just keep deteriorating. And they're just physically moving around, doing things, but they're just breaking down.
That's the pining away.
That is the pining away of men and women. Because they're physically there, but they're not changing. They're not changing because they're liars. They tell themselves they're not that bad. I'm doing enough. I am fighting my battle. Now you know you're lying. Because if you were fighting your battles, you'd be spiritually grown. So, continue.
And these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive it, and bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100.
Now we're gonna let this verse go and go to Proverbs chapter 10. Chapter 10, verse 32. Then we're gonna jump up to 27 and work our way down.
Come, Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 32 reads.
Okay.
The lips of the righteous shall know what is acceptable.
So he says, the righteous person understands what's acceptable. What does that mean? The righteous person knows how much work needs to be produced to receive an outcome. How many of us know what I mean? How many of us know how much studying is necessary for your message to stick out? How many people know how much self-sacrifice and discipline and abstinence needed for your message to resonate? And did you even know that? There's a lot of people who can teach Bible verses, but haven't committed enough works for the word to actually sting and hit. I know a lot of people who have classes online, but they live for themselves and wonder why they don't get views. Wonder why the message don't hit people. Not that it's about views, but it's about the word that touches people and inspires people. Why? How can one person inspire people and another person can say the same verse and they don't get it? Why is that? Is it just knowledge? Is it just studying? Or is it the combination of dedication, selflessness, and studying all tied into one? Tied in with humility and service. That's what makes the message pop. So once again, read that verse again, verse 32.
The lips of the righteous know.
You know why the lips work? Because the lips are aligned, the works are aligned, and the reality is aligned. Everything is aligned to that. Everything is aligned with that righteous person. Not just the words, his actions, or her actions, or his or her reality. It's all lined up. And when it's all lined up, this righteous person can do what?
The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable.
How many of you know the level of work and dedication and reality necessary for your works to be accepted? You wouldn't be asking for counsel about what it takes to get blessed if you did it. Or you wouldn't be sitting back here and running in circles in your life if you did. So what does it let you know? You're not operating righteously enough. You're not honest about who you are and your limitations. Your work ethic hasn't raised up enough to get the attention the Most High wants from you. And your words and what you're talking about and what you're thinking and ruminating on isn't at the level that is sufficient for a blessing. Once again, how many of us can accept that? How many of us can accept that our way of doing things for 5, 10, 15 years has been a waste? And it's been a waste because you've lived a lie. Now, it's okay to accept that and eat that if you choose to change and go to the right source to get fixed. But you can't go to the right source to get fixed until you realize you've wasted time. But the person that's in the right spirit understands what is acceptable. Read on to verse 32.
But the mouth of the wicked speaketh froward.
The mouth of the wicked just speak disobedience. They just talk methods and approaches that don't work. Mentalities that bring nothing to the table, that bring no fruit in your works. It's going to explain in verse 28 or verse 27 that verse 27 goes down and explains what the lips of the righteous that are acceptable, what that really means. And the one who doesn't sit back here and put acceptable work is just speaking disobedient methods. Because that's all we hear in counsel. It's disobedient methods on how to be an underachiever in Christ. And all we try to do is show Israel how your works are underachieving and you're missing the mark. And all we get is mean faces. You're just making me feel bad.
Yeah.
You don't see the good in me. Nothing I ever do is good enough. Have you not heard that? I surely have heard that. Nothing I ever do is good enough. That is a what? That is a forward, wicked statement. So should I sit back and lie to you and tell you that what you're doing is good enough so you can continue to fail and not get blessed by the Most High?
Right.
I'm not the damn wizard that gives hearts and brains and blessing. I don't do that. My job is to show you what it takes for the Most High to honor your word. It's not my fault that some things that brothers and sisters do, they're not doing enough of what it takes to get blessed. Read verse 27.
Come, verse 27 reads, the fear of the Lord prolongeth days.
The fear of the Lord prolongs days. When you learn how to do that which is right, he blesses you with extended life.
Yeah.
When you figure out the secret sauce, when you figure out how much humility you have to have, how much discipline you have to have, how much sincerity you got to have, the reward is extended life. He will heal you. People always think you just pray to the Lord and you get healed. No, it ain't. You get healed when you're obedient. We went over that on Saturday. You get recognized when your propitiation is favorable to the Lord. Read on.
The fear of the Lord prolongeth days, but the years of the wicked shall be short.
But the wicked also are speaking frowardness, disobedient methods. So the person who does the disobedient methods and lives by disobedient methods, their life is cut short. Wicked ain't just, I'm just sitting back here drinking blood and killing babies. That's not wicked. Wicked is when you do a bunch of things the wrong way and swear by those wrong ways and live by those methods that don't work. He's like, I'm just going to shorten your life with sickness. You're just going to wear away and be unproductive because you do things the wrong way and swear by the lie you tell yourself. Read on.
Verse 28. The hope of the righteous shall be gladdened.
The hope of the righteous shall be gladdened. What does that mean? A righteous man, his faith is predicated by the pureness of his outlook. I'm going to say it again. Another word for hope is what?
Faith.
Faith. So the faith of the righteous shall be gladness. How many of us walk around here in the middle of the battle and can see the good in what they're going through? This is also the key of what it takes to get the Most High's attention. Because in the midst of the scrutiny, because this is what it takes to maintain your fertile ground. Because I'll be a liar if I told you that being constantly told that the level of effort is not good enough, it can be vexing. It can be uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. But you know what? What does it take to maintain fertile spiritual ground? Is while I'm being told that I got to get more, I look at the message as a good message, as an uplifting message, as a message of love. Half the reasons we got pride and how pride is quantified is that we can't see correction in a good light. Didn't David say, let the righteous smite me, it shall be a kindness? We pull the verse all day long, but how many people live that verse? If we lived it, there wouldn't be arguments in Israel. There wouldn't be arguments in homes, and there wouldn't be arguments in the hot ass sun during move days. Am I right or wrong? That's the point. Because a righteous man, his answer is always glad and appreciation. And a righteous man or woman has the capacity to be appreciative for even the correction. Because correction is love. And like I mentioned, when men stop checking you, they're losing love for you. When your husband stops checking you, he's really not giving a damn no more. That's a newsflash, Steve. It's a hint. When you don't got the love to check you, and he just sits back here and blows you off, he's starting to not care. When men don't feel they can counsel a brother, and they just let you talk and spread off and be late and just be out of spirit, just know they're losing love. And if the Most High is putting that in men's hearts, maybe the Most High is losing. Read on.
Come. The way of the Lord is strength to the upright.
The way of Lord is strength to the upright person. Meaning, whatever the Most High is putting you through, do you have the capacity to see the Most High is strengthening you? Or do you look at your life as unfair?
Right.
The wicked says life is unfair. The wicked says, I'm getting screwed over. I'm getting hustled. I'm getting taken advantage of. You got to do for you. The righteous, the way of the Lord is strength to the upright. How the way of the Lord is whatever the Most High is putting you. Whatever lessons you have to, whatever difficulties you have to endure. When you endure difficulties, does the Most High see it and say, you know what? Or do you see it and say, man, the Most High is making me stronger? If you can see the Most High is making you stronger through adversity, you are an upright spirit. But if you sit back here and go through life and you can't see how the Most High is developing you and building you up, you're wicked. Because you're a liar, because you can't see things the right way.
Right.
You refuse to look at things spiritually. Read on.
Come. It says, the way of the Lord is strength to the upright, but destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity.
Why does it mean destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity? Because most times when people have to go and deal with how the Most High puts them through things, and when the Most High puts them through adversity, what is our response most of the time when we're going through adversity? Our actions are based on iniquity. When the Most High is making our life uncomfortable, we're the most disrespectful. We're the most out of order. We're the most angry and pissed off and vexed. Don't forget, the second part of the verse is connecting to the first. The way of the Lord, how the Most High deals with us, is received as strength to the upright, but destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity, because the workers of iniquity receive the challenge of the Lord and take it into sin, and they act more negative when they go through adversity. That's how the Most High can determine, are you really about serving him or not? Because when things ain't going good, all of a sudden you're popping off in the mouth.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're angry. All of a sudden you're complaining. All of a sudden you're saying what's unfair and what's not right. Everybody pulls that card, that's iniquity. When the Lord is putting you through the things that are supposed to be perceived as strengthening exercise.
Right.
You see that? This is how you know you're in delusion. Because your delusion is life ain't fair. What I'm going through is unfair. This is messed up. Why do I got to go through this? That's your delusion. And if you're living in your delusion, can the word actually resonate? The word cannot stick because you're looking at it wrong.
Right.
And when people are trying to show you the right way to look at it, how do you treat them? With disgust,
Yeah.
anger. You don't understand. You don't care. You don't understand what I'm going through. Because we want a person to lie with us.
Yeah.
We want people to co-sign, oh yeah, you are wrong. You did get wrong. You said you shouldn't have to go through that. That's how I know I'm around a snake.
Yeah.
I know I'm around a snake. When a person is going through things and a person's answer feeds the weakness, I know that is an antichrist.
Yeah.
That is a person that's anti-Christ. And if you're being honest, those are the people that you should separate and run from the hills for. A person who feeds your weakness, tells you counsel, that's going to sit back here and tell you that you are the victim. Those are the brothers and women you should avoid like the plague. But what we look at that as comfort. We look at those people as comfort. And they're really satanic because they're feeding your delusion. Those who want to hear, they let them hear. You know, keep lying to yourself and see where that takes you. The Bible is clear as day. Read on. And see, verse 30 ties right into verse 28 and 29. It's the hope, the faith of the righteous shall be gladness. If you got faith, if you have faith, you can see the good and the lesson through whatever you got going on. That is how faith is quantified. When things don't go right, when things ain't going right, can I see the lesson? Can I see the good? Can I see how this experience is going to make me stronger? Or do I collapse and blame people and look for people that are going to tell me that how the negative mindset I'm in is the right thing? Continue in verse 30.
Come. Verse 30. The righteous shall never be removed, but the wicked shall not inhabit the earth.
The righteous, that archetype that can see the good in adversity, that can see strength in what I'm losing and what I'm going through, they will never get removed. He will always bless them. He will always take care of them. And that the feelings and the fear and the anxiety is only temporary. But what the wicked shall not inhabit the earth. Most High will remove those people out of your life because they're no good for you. That archetype is no good for you. Continue.
Come. The mouth of the just bringeth forth wisdom, but the forward tongue shall be cut off.
You see how it's the words, it's the outlook, it's the reality, the mouth, the lips, the hope. That's how you process things. All of it has to line in with what pleases the Lord. But reality, you're in reality when you can sit back here and see the lesson and the good and the gladness in your adversity. You're in reality when you can see the strength in whatever the Most High is putting you through. That's how you know you're in reality versus living a lie. So when you're getting checked for your conduct, if in the back of my mind, you can see how this is going to strengthen me and how this is a blessing, and you can process and meditate on that, you're in reality. But if all that's going through your mind is anger and bitterness and all about I'm checking scores and I'm counting tallies and I'm seeing how you're off, you're a liar, and Christ ain't with you when you're lying. And that will very clearly let you know if you're one of those three deceivable archetypes, or you have the potential to operate in that honest archetype. It's very simple. So, with that, we're going to go to Philo real quick, and this is one paragraph that I thought was really on point. This was from Shams Shawan, because Shams Shawan will dance in Philo. This is page 97 of Philo. It is slightly, it's in paragraph 66, page 497, and it says, now this man Moses practiced beyond all other men that which is the most important and most indispensable virtue in a high priest. So we're about to find out what is the most indispensable, meaning you can't go without it. What's the most indispensable virtue or strength a person can hold on while living on earth and being responsible for people? Namely, piety, partly because he was endowed with most admirable natural qualities. And philosophy, whenever they say philosophy, it just means how you look at life, how you look at your lot in life, how you look at what you go through in your experience. Then it says, receiving his nature like a fertile field. And I went here initially to explain that even people who really great leaders and their actions were tied into that fertile field analogy. Okay, so it said how he processed information, how he processed lessons, how he looked at things was comparable to a fertile field. Just like we'll be reading Christ's explanation about receiving Christ's word in good ground. He's saying how Moses processed things in his mind and his philosophy, and how he looked at things was like his mind was a fertile field. Exactly like we're tying in with this topic. So it said, he was endowed with most admirable natural qualities in philosophy, receiving his nature like a fertile field, cultivated and improved it. So he had a natural capacity to look at things spiritually. Just like all of us, in some form of fashion, has an ability. Right or wrong? None of us are abilityless. We all have something good that we bring to the table. Moses had a great disposition, because that's what the Bible will call it, or the apostle, or the Josephus.
Yeah.
He had great virtues and disposition. Philo says he had great philosophy. Fine. So he said he cultivated, so he built on the good he had and improved it by the contemplation of excellent and beautiful doctrines. What does that mean? On top of what he naturally could do, he built on top of his talents, looking for what doctrine or approach was the most excellent. He didn't sit back here and walk around here and figure out what felt the best. He didn't sit back here in the discourse of elders and say, you know what you're just saying your opinion. Moses was diligently looking for whose method was the most excellent, whose approach was the most effective. Do you in your life choose the most effective spiritual method to do something, or do you lie to yourself and tell yourself you do enough? Most of us are liars, and we tell ourselves we do enough.
Right.
But great men and great women, stop sitting back here and just saying, oh, that's your opinion. That's what you do. Great people in Christ look for the best method to follow Christ. And when you have the mindset to look for the best way to do things spiritually, now your ground is fertile. Now you can grow, and now you can maximize your potential. But most people don't walk the planet Earth looking to figure out the best way to do things. We justify why our lame effort is good enough.
Yeah.
And that's how you know the caliber of man and woman that you are. Nobody got to say a word. Great people look for the best way to do things. Mediocre archetypes look to justify why their way is good enough. What kind of person are you? Are you mediocre, or are you pushing to excel? Don't answer the question. Your works every day show it. Now, whether you choose to do more, that's great. But are you going to be honest enough to say what archetype you are? Put it on the top of the page. What's your archetype? Do you sit back here and look to figure out the most excellent way to do things every single day? Or do you sit back here and cut corners and tell yourself what you do is good enough? I want you to write it big on the top of your paper for yourself to see it. Whenever you look at this damn page, what type of person are you? Are you a liar or are you honest? You going to put it on paper or what? Do you look to be excellent? Or do you look to justify your mediocrity? This don't feel good, but maybe if you write it down on paper and can own up to the fact that you look for mediocrity, maybe you'll come out of your delusion and shake out of it. You gonna put it down? I ain't seen nobody put it down. That's another way to prove that you're alive. You ain't even humble to sit back and put down what's really inside of you. This is you. This is your work. And this is what the Bible shows.
We don't fight our battle.
Because we're liars. You have to create a reason to fight your battle. If I tell myself I'm doing enough, there's no reason to fight. The only reason that you may fight is if you can look at yourself every day and say, I really push for mediocrity. I got flea market effort. I really got pool guy flea on thrift store effort. We're going to be honest. Who is going to be honest with you? Every day I push to do the most excellent approach in studying. What's the most excellent, honorable approach in cooking and cleaning and organizing and teaching and working? Do I look for the most excellent way to do it? The answer is stop lying. You don't. But you want blessings. Everybody wants good. Everybody wants rank. Everybody wants shiny stuff and acknowledgement. But you don't put the work in because you're not in reality, because you're not self-honest about your situation. Another one of those definitions, self-honesty, the ability to look inward and view yourself, your flaws, and your motives without bias or denial. How many of us sit back here and can honestly say what our motives are? And honestly accept, this is my real reason for this. I worked with people for years that talked a lie long enough to convince themselves they're lying. I'm like, do you believe the lie that you're saying? I used to work with people like, do you believe the lie that you're saying? Or are you lying to me and you know you're lying? Because I've worked with people like, you'll say the lie so much. The more you say it, the more you say the lie, it's almost like you believe it. It's believable coming from your lips. I'm like, do you really believe it? Or are you deliberately lying to me? Or have you convinced yourself that the lie is true? There are people who operate like that.
That's how you kill guilt.
And they lie, they keep talking the lie, they keep talking the lie, and they keep talking the lie. And the more you talk the lie, you convince yourself that it's true. I've seen men with rank do that. It's a scary thing. This is why we gotta one day change those things. But if you're a liar, you can't get rank. If you don't have honest evaluations about who you are, why do you deserve to sit back and ruin people's lives? With your lives. With your works that don't match your words. With your reality that doesn't match your words and action. Why ruin people's lives? Why make their battles difficult when you are alive? So, self-honesty, the ability to look inward and view yourself, your flaws, and your motives without bias or denial. That should be a homework assessment and job for yourself. You don't got to give it to me. Do not give it to me. But what you should do is this. Look yourself in the mirror, write down this list of what you suck at, or what you are mid at, or deficient in. Then type it. Then laminate it. And keep it at your house. You know why? Because you need to ground yourself and stop living in this delusion like you're really badass and you're really in the spirit. I used to tell a brother in particular, stop calling me and telling me how on point you are. I know you're lying. And I would tell him this. Stop telling me, stop gassing me up, trying to create this illusion that you're so in the spirit. You tell me all the good you're doing, and 10 minutes later, I get a report about how jacked up you are. Like, what the hell is this? Then I would ask myself again, is this person intentionally lying to me? Or does he really think what he's telling me is true? But there was a couple people that are like that. They're pathological liars. Like this, I got you. Is there any part of you that knows you're lying? Why are you lying to me? Then I'll know the person will call me, know when a bad report's coming. So he will offend somebody at the warehouse. I think I gave that person away. He'll offend somebody at the warehouse, then I'll get a call an hour later about all the good you're doing, all the counseling, all the brotherhood you're doing. Like, dude, in an hour, I get a call from Gil saying this guy offended a customer, offended a client. He was about to, the client was in fear of their life. Like, what the hell is this? How can the client be in fear of their life at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and I'm getting a call from you at 3 about what kind of a good guy you are? Like, what kind of crazy thing? What is this? And then you don't think I'm going to put 2 and 2 together? You don't think I'm going to find out what Gil just said? What is this? What kind of liar is this? Now that's low-hanging fruit lie. Those are easy lies. But are you going to be honest about your lies? And write it on a piece of paper? And don't just write it and throw the paper away. Write it, type it, and laminate it. You going to do that? Good times. I might do it. That's what you're going to get. I'll get to it as soon as possible. Well, you can do it right now. You can write it now. Go home, add more to the list, because it's a big list. It's a bigger list than your initial 5. You can, yeah, I'm a little weak with my studying. Yeah, I can write that. Yeah, I have a little temper here and there. That's true. You get these little lame answers. Why don't you get real? You know, I might do a couple cervezas, a little more than I need to. Like, are you serious? You know you're lying when you say these things. Yeah. I'm kind of like this. And, you know, I'm kind of opinionated. I'm kind of a control freak. For real, you're kind of a control freak? Kinda? You know, I kind of have a smart mouth, you know, but I'm a pretty good person. I'm really good. I do this, I give this. I really care about the nation. Okay. Now, there's a bunch of liars that write like that. There's a bunch of liars. Am I lying? No, I'm not. But I have a good heart, though. I have a good heart. I don't want to hear about the good heart. Where's the muy mild heart? I don't know about that heart. The bad. Cornido? I know, escondido. See? I don't know about that. Conozco. I don't know if I said that right.
No, you did.
It is.
No.
Yes, sis. Un poquito. Self-honesty. The ability to look inward and view yourself, your flaws, and your motives without bias or denial. Then it says, being radically real with yourself about your own feelings, flaws, and motives. How many times do we not deal with the motives? What's our reasoning behind asking this? Why did I say it this way? Why did I say it that way? Why did I communicate it and paint the picture that way? That's how you know you're being honest. We don't do that. And a lot of us hide behind our word salad. Hide behind how we talk. The Most High sees it. Nobody wants to say how negative you are and how evil your intentions are and how you're not honest about your motivations in your communication. We're not honest, but we expect blessing. We expect this word to fully grow in us. That's the funny thing. That's the blessing. The blessing isn't the reward. The blessing is that the wisdom fully can manifest to its peak. Like in this book, it says, this is Moses, philosophy receiving his nature like a fertile field, cultivated and improved it by the contemplation, the thinking of excellent and beautiful doctrine, and did not dismiss it until all the fruits of virtue were brought to perfection in him. What does that mean? Moses looked to find the most excellent method to apply, and he didn't stop applying it till he got the maximum spiritual benefit of the applying of the approach. Do we do that? Hell no, because we're not committed to serving at an optimal level. We want to sit back here and give 50% work and get 90% blessing. We give half-assed effort and expect maximum return. But the return that we should be looking for is the return of the most excellent virtues that are available for us to have. And the excellent virtues are the fruits of the Spirit that we should be gunning for every single day. We read in Mark 4:20 was 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold. We're supposed to be dedicating and committing enough work at an excellent pace with an excellent philosophy or an excellent mental approach to all the things inside of us. And not stopping the application of these excellent approaches, which you know requires discipline and abstinence and humility and a fighting spirit and significant discomfort. You know that's part of it. When you accept that, then you can maximize the fruits of your works. It lets you know that most of us just give half-assed efforts with half-assed methods. And expect it most how to honor our half-assed methods, where the damn carrot don't come out the ground but this much. Look, I've got orange. It came out, but it's retarded. The fruit didn't grow to its max potential because you had a whack method of growing the damn carrot. Well, it's a baby carrot because it was intended to be a grown big carrot. It was supposed to be zucchini, but I don't see no zucchini. I didn't see any. I didn't see any. I don't see zucchini because it was developed the wrong way.
Yeah. But the issue is, if you're gonna get the growth from the virtue, because everybody likes to harp and focus on the virtue. The virtue often manifests or comes into fruition or crystallizes or comes into your life in reality when a person has to stimulate you. A lot of times you have to stimulate the ground. You have to stimulate the earth. You have to put that funky manure in the ground to make that seed have the nutrients necessary to get the nutrition necessary to grow. But when brothers give manure, when brothers start to stimulate the earth and give the ground and start to aerate, it's called aerating the ground. You're stabbing the ground so the ground has air. It aerates. It can't be this hard ground. You throw a seed and it can't dig in. The soil has to be soft. The soil has to be malleable. When you go to a garbage pottery, go to a pottery store, that the earth, the black, brown, or the dark soil, you can feel it, and it's like sand. You can feel it. It's soft. Our soil is rock hard.
Fallow ground.
The teacher.
You've been going over this.
When the teacher gives critique, and the teacher gives perspective, and the teacher says this is what you're not doing, or this is how you should do it, that is the attempt to aerate that soil and soften that ground, so that when the seed gets planted, it has room to grow and germinate. But the seed often can't germinate because the growth is preceded first by correction. You're not getting growth without correction. It's not even real. Oh, I just became merciful.
And listen, we're going to go into that in depth as we go into class. But all I want to focus on here is Moses looked adamantly for the most excellent doctrine.
The right one.
Doctrine is just method. He sat back here and diligently looked for the best way to do it. He wasn't sitting back here and saying, okay, I know my way is good already. My way is enough because it's good. The author said that Moses was natural, had talents. He naturally had abilities. Did he sit back here and rest on what he naturally was good at? Or was he constantly somebody who can beat his method?
Right.
He was looking for people whose method was superior. And he acknowledged it and embraced it. That's the only way anybody of us can break the lie or the delusion out of it. You're only in a delusion because you stand above it.
Right.
And you don't sit back here and look for greater methods.
Huh.
If you look for greater methods, then you will start seeing how sucky you really are. Never forget, I was playing baseball for the area code team. And when I was playing with my competition, I was head and shoulders above everybody. And when I played area code is like the Dodgers, the Angels. In Texas, it's like the Texas Rangers, all these different teams, and they pick the best baseball players in the region, in the area, and put them on an all-star team and play for like a week or two. And then we did all the measurable speed, hitting, all that stuff. And that was when I realized I was a ghetto kid playing at black school. When these white kids were all dropping tanks with wood bats. And I never swung a wood bat in my life. And that wood bat is way harder to swing than a metal bat. Metal bat is evenly light, from base to top. So you can sit back and maneuver the head and really smash. But when you have a wood bat, you better have strong wrists and you better be used to hitting a wooden bat. And I didn't know what size bat to use. But let me just get this one. It's all right. You got to hurry up. You got 5 minutes. Listen, you do what you can, but you ain't doing what they're doing. And these white kids have throwing mechanics that are just blowing you out of the way. And you know, with black heart and black effort and black can-do attitude, you might be able to sit back here and tread water with these guys. But that doesn't sit back here and beat superior training and superior approach. And these white folks are spending money on these kids. I'm running fast. I can do that. I can beat you on this. I'm faster than you. Got you. Then I sat back here and threw a couple balls from. Listen, first of all, I ran. They liked the speed. They said, "Okay, son, what do you play?" I said, "I'm a shortstop, coach." Okay, go on to center field, and we're gonna check you out. Like, put up. I can feel grounded. Good, coach. Okay. Listen, then whatever thoughts I might have had about what I was came crashing down. You're the token black guy. There's only 2 black guys. You're the token Negro that's going to play center field. Let's see you run and jump. Then I'm sitting back here angry because of the racism and the inequity and the struggles of the black man.
Yeah.
You can do all that struggle crap all you want. This is what we think of you. So maybe there's other guys hitting homers with wood bats and they have all this exposure, and these guys have seen them in high level travel ball. Was I playing high level travel ball? No, I had no money for that. I don't know what that is. So I wasn't connected to that. All that starts to add up, and you start seeing what you really look like in front of real white money. Then you come back down to earth. The same thing with taking my sons to getting them out of San Antonio. Listen, you got some speed. You're a black guy in San Antonio. Cool. You're going to be starting on varsity, man. Good for you. Take your black butt to Dallas. We're going to see what you got in Dallas. Let's go to Fort Worth. Let's go to Dallas. And let's see what you got around those. Then all of a sudden, there was the Adidas circuit thing, man. It was right in Duncanville. That's the root and the heart of black slave athleticism. I'm being honest with you. The heart of black slave athleticism in Texas is in Duncanville, Dallas. Right? You go up, and it's South Dallas. You're gonna see some shady locations.
Right.
There's gonna be some possible robbing of you. You better get there in the daytime. You don't want to get there at night. Because that's where First 48 show is happening at most of the time. And these are all facts. Am I lying? So you're going to get some First 48 stuff. You're going to get top-end hoopers, because one of my sons played basketball in Duncanville, and you really see what you are on the basketball court, and you really see where you are on the football. And then all of a sudden, your 4-5 don't look too hot. When you're running in Duncanville and you see 4 threes.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, they're running 4 4s, 4 3s, and they 220, 230. And you're running 4 5s, and you're like 180. The math ain't math. Then, this is as a parent, you think your kid gonna make the league and he gonna do this, he got all this talent. And then you see true African-American physical excellence. And you can sit back and say what you want. It's a reflection of you. Because your genes ain't there, dog. You ain't got it ain't his fault. Could you run a 4.2 at this age? No. So it's you too. And you gotta sit back and watch and say, man, give it your best, dog. Give it your best. Work on your take. Then you're preaching technique and footwork and all these angles. Because all you got is technique. Do these kids got technique? Hell no, but they woke up running a 4.3. They woke up out of bed eating sugar cereal, running a 4.3. Malnutrition, and they're still 220. How the hell you don't eat enough food and you're still 220 out? And you're jumping out the gym. It's there. And I never forget, we were at SMU one time, and they were explaining all the position coaches and where they went. They said, lineman coach, you'll be in San Antonio. He said, receivers, DBs, Dallas, Houston. I understand. Listen, the speed positions don't go to San Antonio. They don't even waste their time visiting San Antonio, Texas. So if you're UT, you're SMU, which is lower tier by many tiers. They're not even looking at San Antonio. They're just not, because you just don't got the body. I remember Mac Brown, when they won the title, they said, man, all the high school coaches in the Golden Triangle, the Golden Corridor. I was like, what is the Golden Corridor? I wonder where that is. What do you think the Golden Corridor is in Texas for athletes? Dallas, Houston, East Texas. It is from Dallas, Houston, East. That's all they want. But I'm really good. I'm from Permian, Texas, West Texas. I'm going to East Texas. What am I bringing all this up? It's a reminder that your delusion doesn't fit with reality. And all these D1 dreams, guess what the coach said, son? We have some D3s here for you. We have some Juco. We have some maybe Division 2s. And then the young kids probably, I ain't no D2. It's D1 or nothing. Well, it might be nothing. And all of a sudden, you're brought down to reality. You know how many kids walk around? I remember this one kid said, this is after I've experienced this. And I saw this young kid, they're like, what do you want to do? What do you want to play? I want to play for Duke. I'm like, okay. Listen, I see your mama. I see how tall your daddy is. Listen, I see how you are now. Duke is not even the question. Now, the question is, did the parent bring him down to reality at a young age? Or did he have to be brokenhearted by the time he got to sophomore year and there's no looks and there's no all? I'm bringing sports to the forefront because sports will help bring you to reality very quickly. And it can remind you, you're not who you think you are. You tell yourself you're this. You can sit back and dominate San Antonio talent, but San Antonio talent is on the bottom of the rung. Even in baseball, evaluators, they say, they go to Austin's and they keep going on 35 till they get to Corpus. Like, what? They don't even stop in San Antonio? No, they don't even stop. How about that's how evaluators look at San Antonio? And he said, that's not fair. They're sitting back here missing hidden gems. okay, maybe.
Being reparation to that even happen.
And you know what you gotta do? You gotta leave San Antonio, go to Dallas, and dominate out there. Leave San Antonio if you're gonna play baseball, go to Austin and dominate in Austin. Dominate in Tomball, which is in Houston. Then all of a sudden you're legit. Well, that's what anybody worth a damn does. But you know what parents do? Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie, evaluations don't lie. But we can explain how in sports we're delusional, but we're delusional every day at the school address. You think it's any different? It ain't. Brothers in here think they're D1. They're not. They operate on the D1 level. They operate on a JUCO level, a D2 JUCO. You know, there's D1 JUCO and there's D2 JUCO. I don't know if y'all knew that. I thought every JUCO was the same. I was wrong. There's D1 JUCO, there's D2 JUCO, and there's D3 JUCO. What does that mean? The D1 JUCO kids have a chance to maybe go to D1, below D1. Unless you shot somebody and you've got to play a year at JUCO and you go to a D1.
Coming out of prison.
Or you're D2 JUCO and you're going to line up to a JUCO or NAIA. And then the D3 JUCOs are going to go to a D3. That's how they classify. And you know where you fit? What coach calls you. So listen, you sitting back here get a call from a D3 JUCO coach, you don't get mad at him? Oh man, this D3 JUCO coach called me. Okay, so the question is this. Maybe your JUCO D3 caliber, and you just ain't got the memo yet. Because D1 ain't calling you, D2 is not calling you, hell, D3 is not calling. JUCO D1 is not calling you, JUCO D2 is not calling you, and JUCO D3 is not calling you. And then when they sit back and tell you what they're offering, they're saying, well, we like you a lot. We want you to sit back here and play D3 JUCO with us. But you're going to have to pay everything out of pocket. You got to get an apartment on your own because we don't have dorms here in Dallas. But we want you. We really like your game and we really think you're a good fit. And you're sitting back here on the phone like, I got to pay everything out of pocket. And I got to drive to another city to play in bummy gyms and really crappy facilities for the love of the game. And there's no ego in this. I never forget there was one NAIA, bro. The NAIA that we went to was a hotel. It was a hotel. The school. NAIA is it's like a D2 level school.
D2 what?
Division 2. Yeah. There's Division 1 and there's Division 2. Now the NAIA school, they say it's like a notch below D2. But there's some good players. Point is, went to the school, and I didn't know. So we're driving. You know how the promotion, they give you certain looks at the school that you think it's something that it's not. Then you drive up here, and it's like, and it looked like it looked like it was a damn La Quinta. It looked like the school, maybe not a La Quinta. Give me some hotels, some multi-floor hotels that closed down because they weren't making enough money. You give me some names of a hotel. Somebody, well, no, a little better than that. It was like a Four Seasons, or it was like a 3 to 4 level hotel.
Yeah.
Holiday Inn, and I'm driving, and I'm like, and you don't see it from the back. So I'm like, my GPS is saying this is it, and I'm like, I don't see any school here. I see a hotel here. Then I pull up, I'm like, is this the school? I'll go in and find it. Then I go in and find out, and first of all, it's like a Turkish school. The Turks own it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, could be. I was like, the right. But first of all, the first thing that let me know I was about to have to make a bad decision is in the entire hotel smelled like weed.
Oh, right.
I was like, wow. This is what's hot in the streets. I get this weed college out. So we go in there and it's just weed every level. And then they say, yeah, we have dorms here, and the dorms are just a hotel room. And they try to squeeze as many people in each hotel. I'm like, Let's just go experience it, see what they say. And then they say, yeah, we're going to sit there and go hoop now. You saw all the facilities, whatever. Let's go hoop. We're like, yeah, let's go hoop. He said, there's only one problem. The gym is not on campus. Where's the gym? We have to drive like 10 minutes down the street. Like, okay. And it's like a local, like, Catholic school. It's a Catholic gym
In the church.
in a church.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, this is the gym. This is the practice facility. And they're hooping, whatever. You know, when you're watching ball is ball. The coach likes them. I'm like, oh, coach, where do they play? Why do they play the games? They don't play the games. Like, no, we don't play. It's a better spot. He's at the local high school. I'm like, they're playing on the high school gym, bro. The college home court is on an opposing team's gym. I'm like, man, what am I trying to say? Was that no, it's just a team. It's a high school gym. It ain't your school. It's like the flying kangaroos in the middle of it. But your team is whatever the hell. Is that a home field advantage? That you play on the flying kangaroos home court? That what am I trying to say? I can scoff at the experience all day long. But if those are the only people that want you, what are you going to do? Are you going to be appreciative? Or are you going to quit basketball? It's a question. But that's reality. And you are whoever wants you. Can you accept that? You are what the people around you and your counselors and the scriptures tell you are. That's why I say we're not in reality, because we're liars. We don't allow our circumstances, the conditions that we're in, the battles we're facing, help give you clarity about who you are. You are what your actions show you are. You are what your inconsistencies revealing. But do we sit back and own up to the flaws and the deficiencies that we can't overcome? That's what you are. And if you can understand that and come to reality about what you really are, is how the Most High sees you, how learned men can process in your scenario, then you can sit back here and begin to work on what's inside of you. I'm bringing out all this sports scenario because it's a very humbling process. When you think you find so much success in this arena and you think you can go anywhere with it, but the reality is different. It's very humbling, and a lot of young people, when they have to realize the work they have to do and the lack of ego fulfillment in the paths they go, a lot of people quit first semester. Because then they realize, man, I gotta really work. Yeah. I gotta break me to get out of this JUCO hell. Because JUCO was hell. I'm gonna tell you that, right? JUCO hell in sports, you are in the mud. Listen, you ain't getting no quality foods. Everything is seed oil, everything out. Listen, it's seed oil hell out. And you gotta work your way out of the slum to get to a little more stable condition based on your height and your measurables and what people see you at. But nobody wants to deal with what people see you at. Yeah. We don't want to live in that space. We want to live in the space that we tell ourselves is legit. Yeah. This is why the mall is one of the best ways to show you who you are. You can say all damn day long what you're fighting and what you're changing. My answer, how come the totals ain't telling you that? The totals tell a different story than your words. You're saying how on point you are. But are those totals sitting back here telling you? It's not telling you that you're out on point. That's why the mall was such a great way to develop. Because you can lie about what you're trying and what you're fitting to do and what you're about to do, but your total tells you what you're doing. So I'm going through all these connections just to show you that Moses' mindset was fixated on looking for the most acceptable approach, to lean to the most acceptable approach. And that's what made him even greater than what his natural virtues brought to the table. I'm going to go back and read the paragraph again. Now this man Moses practiced beyond all other men that which is the most important and most indispensable virtue in a chief priest, namely piety, partly because he was endowed with most admirable natural qualities. So once again, he was blessed with natural qualities, but he didn't rest on those natural abilities. He looked to surpass those natural abilities. Then it said, and philosophy, so he was naturally endowed with the ability to process things spiritually. Okay? And it said, receiving his nature like a fertile field. He accepted the things he was good at, but didn't rest in his approaches. Because in order to stay and remain fertile, we had to keep looking for a better way to do it, a more spiritual and effective way to do it. That's what keeps your spirit fertile. That's what keeps your mind fertile. That's what keeps your ability to receive and grow fertile. Never accept the little bit of good you can bring to the table, because there's always more. You can always do better. You can always achieve greater. You can always change better. You can always be more efficient. And this is what made Moses special. Then it said, cultivated. So he cultivated and developed this mindset and improved it by the contemplation, the thinking of excellent and beautiful doctrines or methods. He kept looking for the best methods to improve himself. Then it says, and did not dismiss it at all. And he said, and did not dismiss it until all the fruits of virtue were brought to perfection in him. So once again, it's not about doing things well. It's about perfecting every aspect of your work for the Lord. That is when you stop. And then when you stop, you'll keep doing it anyway. Why stop something that works?
Right.
And works to perfection? What's that?
One thing real fast. Because we're reading out of follow, right?
Yeah.
It said excellent what?
It said
Excellent doctrines.
excellent. It's an excellent and beautiful doctrine.
Now we'll put Ezekiel 16 and 7. Ezekiel 16 and 7. Because the concept in there is beautiful. And the concept also in Ezekiel.
Ezekiel 16 and 7.
Uh-huh.
I have caused thee to multiply.
Sometimes people with skeptical minds do like, man, this is just what you want to see and follow. Right? People say that.
They will.
But Ezekiel
The
16.
liars will. It's the truth. But you know, you're right. And
I'm just trying to be serious.
They're liars too. I am being serious.
I have to focus.
He's going,
16 to 7.
Now in Ezekiel 16, 7.
Yeah.
I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field.
So the Most High, who is the author of wisdom, will cause us to what? Decrease, pine away, or what?
Multiply.
And the Most High is about multiplying. Some 30-fold, some 60-fold, some 100-fold. The Most High is about multiplication. Read.
As the bud of the field.
Uh-huh.
And thou hast increased and waxen great.
And thou hast increased and waxen great. We're striving or we're departing from mediocrity. Increasing and waxing great is in contrast to mediocrity. So the Most High is giving us wisdom. We're multiplying like the bud of the field and in our works, and we're going beyond our mediocrity and our stagnation. So they both go together. Read.
And thou art come to excellent ornaments.
And you came to what?
Excellent
You
ornaments.
came to excellent ornaments. Like excellent doctrines. Is the Most High making you multiply? You wear a gold chain now? With a sort of seal of David on or a menorah?
no.
Is that the excellent ornaments? The excellent
The
ornament
ornaments of virtues.
is the excellent ornament the new car?
Nope.
Is the excellent
The
ornament
reward that you're looking for?
is the excellent ornament the physical trinket you get that you purchased to God? Does God care about the physical trinket you got? Does he care about the name brand you got? Does he care about the particular thing that you think is stylish at the moment? Is that the excellent ornament? Or is the excellent ornament those excellent doctrines, which are those more skillful methods that make everybody's life better.
Superior methods to yours.
Con,
We don't look at approach as this person's approach is superior to mine.
con.
We need to, because we're not honest.
Yeah.
If you're honest, you will say that person, that sister or brother's approach to diet is superior to mine. That brother's or that sister's approach to working out is superior to mine. That brother's approach to studying is superior to mine. That brother's way of handling pressure is superior to mine. That brother's approach to looking at things in a spiritual life is superior to mine. Let me learn that approach. Nobody does it.
And that's how a person comes to,
Because the problem, he got an approach, I got an approach. He got a way, I got a way.
you're a man, I'm a man.
You're a man, I'm a man. That's pride.
Yeah.
Versus sitting back here and looking for the best way to do things.
And this is the extension of that point. Read. And once you get the excellent ornaments or the excellent doctrines, the better method, the superior path and approach. Read.
Thy breasts are fashioned, and thy hair is grown.
Thy breasts are fashioned, thy hair is grown.
I gotta say this. Ezekiel 16 explains how Israel is the most high woman. So when we sit back here and choose the most excellent virtue, the most excellent way to change what's inside of them, we look prettier to the Father.
Yeah.
The better, when we sit back and commit ourselves to be the best, more humble person, when we commit to eliminating our anger or our dysfunction or our pride or our slothfulness, the more things we pursue to be excellent, we look more beautiful in the eyes of the most. That's the outfit. That's the hair that's getting longer. Those are the eyelashes getting prettier and more seductive. We're becoming more beautiful to the Lord by the day, the more things we break in ourselves. But not just break, but choose to be the most excellent way to break.
Yeah.
What's the most excellent way to overcome your doubts? What's the most excellent way to overcome fear? What's the most excellent way to serve? What's the most excellent way to be in order? If we gave ourselves to looking for the best method, we can be attractive to the Lord.
Yeah.
And the more attractive we are to the Lord, the more the Most High will give us. So if you learn how to choose what's the most excellent approach, that will break you out of your delusion. Because the delusion, part of the lie, is telling yourself that you're good enough.
Right.
And that's why I brought the sports scenario to it. Because everything was cool till you left San Antonio and went to South Dallas. Then you realize what you really want. And that's the point. That's just like you think you're on point until you measure yourself up with a sister or brother who does it 10 times better than you.
Right.
So are you going to be proud and be caught up into how that person is better than you? Or are you going to be humble and absorb and learn the most excellent approach? You know how many times I hear about people feeling insecure by being around somebody who can do something better than them? They feel worthless. I don't hear that worthless crap. You're lying. That worthless statement is cap. That worthless statement is you just not accepting that you don't want to change and improve you. All that feelings crap is hullabaloo. You feel bad because you're finally realizing how much work you're going to have to put into fixing you, and you really don't want to do it.
Right.
So instead of dealing with the reality of your condition and how hard you have to work to fix it, you'd rather just feel bad.
Right.
You'd rather just feel like I'm not good enough and cry on somebody's shoulder, and somebody tells you you're right, you're good just the way you are, baby. That's what you want to be lied to.
Yeah.
Versus saying you're right. You do have a long way to go. You didn't love me. You're not encouraging me. That's what people do. Right or wrong. You don't support, you don't love me. Then all of a sudden the man got to say, am I going to go to work to him and not get no sleep? Or am I going to go to sleep and placate? Don't placate. Be honest. Keep it true. So
That's why I wanted to read this last
you
point.
got to.
Last point. So we read that I have caused thee to multiply the bud of the field, meaning wisdom multiplies 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold. Where multiplying works, we're getting better. That's increased and waxing great. I'm not operating at a minimal or a mediocre level and rate. Then it says, thou art come to excellent ornaments. Everybody wants to think that you're going to get all this jewelry and money from being in the scriptures.
Yep.
But really, you're getting superior solutions and methods and approaches that make you a better person, a more valuable person.
Isn't that what counsel, if you ask yourself, what is the root of counsel that you have between generals and or captains and young men? It's always about superior method. If you're going to be honest, if the counsel's amongst sisters, it's always about what is the most superior, most effective way to get things done. And the simple way to operate a camp is for everybody to be humble enough to serve the greatest wisdom. That's what it should be. It shouldn't have to be, oh, I'm this whatever rank guy, follow me. It should be whoever's on top should be aligned the most with their words, actions, and their reality. And with that being the case, the conversation should always boil down to what's the most effective way to serve the Lord. What's the most excellent way to serve the Lord? That's when the most says the simplicity that's in Christ. But we make it very complicated because we don't want to live by following the most excellent way. Because following the most excellent way makes everybody feel sad. But it's the right way. You know, we're going to live our life, following the most excellent way to serve the Most High in Christ. We're going to keep playing this opinion game and living a lie.
Right.
Because when it's about choosing excellence, now you can't sit back here and live your lie anymore. Now the lie is unraveled. Now this is just your opinion. This is your way. You know, because I've been told by men that are my peers who are over me, well, I'm sorry that I just don't do it the way you want me to do it. Oh, is it about
The way I want you to.
I want you to, or let's talk about the most superior way. So let me change the words and say, then let's get a group of 5 elders and let's counsel about what's the most effective way. So then we can put the effective way in a flipping hat that's tight. And then let everybody decide what's the most effective way to sit back and run a camp. Then you're going to sit back and say that's your method still? That some people cop out and run from accountability. High-ranking men do it. Young men in the truth do it. High-ranking generals that run camps lie. Troopers lie. Older women in the truth lie. New citizens in the truth lie. But if everybody submits to the most excellent method, everybody can stay in reality. But everybody just throws smoke screens. They throw smoke screens. They sit back here and they create distractions so that the excellent method isn't followed and isn't adhered to. And as long as the excellent method is not adhered to, you can live your life. And that's how men have been living in the truth for 30, 40 years. Yes.
I was gonna say,
That's facts. Yes.
can an example of Moses' piety be his dealing with Jethro? When Jethro,
He listened to advice. He was the leader of the free world and still listened to advice and delegated responsibility. Because that was the most excellent way. Him sitting back here and dealing with an innumerable nation was exhausting.
Yeah.
So let me delegate the responsibility and take the pressure off. That was him listening to the most effective method. Moses just said, man, I'm the captain of the host. I'm not listening to you.
most I picked
Spirits with me.
Right.
That's the point. It is a perfect example of how a person can stay humble and adaptable and find the best way, the most excellent way to put. But once again, then it goes back into another delusion. Some people think the most excellent way is the most convenient way. Some people think the most excellent way is the easiest way. You know what I heard? Work smarter, not harder.
Right.
That ain't wisdom. That's not the most. Listen, working smarter, not harder is not the most excellent way. The most excellent way is the way that develops the greatest virtue.
Yeah.
You see that? You see how even the word excellent can be misinterpreted with your sloth and your delusion? What you gonna say?
No, I was just saying, didn't Moses have, when the Most High wanted Moses to lead the nation, didn't he have a problem with speaking?
He had a problem. You know what he had a problem with? People say he had a stuttering problem, but it's not true. He was raised speaking Egyptian.
Kind of.
So it's like a young brother learning Spanish, and he don't have the right dialect.
He got his brother.
Then it sounds like an American speaking Spanish, and he was afraid that I'm speaking Spanish like somebody from California,
Right.
and he was afraid that the changing I'm speaking Hebrew, but it don't sound like y'all.
Right.
You ain't gonna receive me.
Yeah.
God.
Right.
But he had to be pushed to do it, and even then, the most like, man, I'm gonna give you Aaron then.
Is that?
But that was out of fear and modesty. I'm just trying to say.
And I'm sure he's.
But you know why? Because he had an overly considerate thought towards how he wrote and how he would affect the people. He was overly considerate.
Right.
Problem is, we don't have any consideration
Yeah.
to how we move and how detached we are versus people that are connected. And that's what the issues in council are always like this. And people think that we have their worst interest in heart. We don't care. We're just trying to attack and tear people down. All I do is hear I'm not good enough. Maybe it's because if everybody in the room tells you you're off, guess what? But no, you can't get a Jew to see that. You can't convince a Jew that he's off, even if 10 people in the room say yes. You're just hating on me. Then it's, you're just hating on me, son.
Oh.
Like, okay. Then when I hear that, then I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah.
Then you go to your device. Why are we gonna counsel? I had a counsel with a person not too long ago, and they just couldn't get past. They wanted to hear, they didn't want to hear the spiritual solution. They want to hear the carnal solution. Then I gave them the carnal solution. I'm gonna give you what you're asking for, because you don't want the real answer. And your actions show you don't want it. What do? Keep giving a person the spiritual answer, and it's like they're sitting back here being like Chinese water torture through the spiritual answer. No, you just do this in the flesh. That's what you want to take. I tell them to go, man. What do you want to do? If you want the real answer, I can give you the real answer. But what answer do you want? Because I asked the person that question. What answer do you want? The spiritual answer or the carnal answer? And they said, I want the carnal answer.
Oh.
I'm going to give it to you then. Then no, I want the spiritual answer. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. You were honest there. You were honest there. You wanted the carnal answer. Then you saw our reaction and you backed it up. No. I want the Bible answer. What the Bible said. I went hard. I embellished the carnal answer. Then do this, man. That will solve it. What am I trying to say? Sometimes you got to sit back and answer a fool according to his what?
Father.
You want to be lied to? Give me the answer. I'm not going to get no deeper with it because you don't want it. If you want it, cool, I'll give you the answer. But you can give a person the answer all day long. The seed ain't going to go into the ground.
Right.
Unless you're humble and you're willing. Listen, it's nothing, first of all, it's not wicked to have a delusion. The wickedness is in not owning up to your delusion. Are you humble enough to realize that how you look at stuff is way off in contrast to everybody else living spiritually? That is so hard. And I know everybody feels online that when driving the same damn thing over. We're going to have a part 6. Guess what? You know why? Because they need to hear it. I didn't even get a chance to go to the class. The Jew needs to hear that they're living in a fantasy. And until you come out of this delusion, you can't begin to gain any spiritual traction moving forward. So, I'm going to continue here. Did you have something you said?
Because that last point.
Please do. Where we at?
Uh,
Ezekiel.
16 and 7.
Last point.
And thine hair is grown,
Thy hair is what?
grown,
Read on.
whereas thou wast naked and bare.
Because there's a contract. Either I'm going to allow my soul to be aerated, I'm going to allow counselor to counselor, and teachers to teach, and elders to disseminate information. I'm going to allow my physical life circumstances to show me the real lesson. Because your life can tell you how to counsel. You have to have a counselor to see the life. I'm failing this arena. This was one of my failures at. I keep making the same. I keep hitting the same wall. I'm hitting a threshold and I'm not moving forward. That's just, you don't need a counselor to tell you that. Life will tell you that. Poor performance will tell you that. Guilt tells you that. Right? It says you'll come to excellent ornaments, meaning take on the Most High's approach, start getting better ways to do things. Whereas that was what?
Whereas thou was naked and bare.
And that's the contrast. The contrast is being naked and bare. I was is past tense. In my past tense or recent past, I was naked and bare. We're looking at naked and bare from a physical perspective. By definition, naked is exposed to shame and disgrace. Naked in the scriptures means I felt ashamed and I dealt with disgrace. Point 6. Guilty and exposed to what? Divine wrath. So naked also means not only am I naked and bare means I'm exposed to the wrath of God. I'm about to be destroyed. I'm going to continue to pine away. I might not get the kingdom. I'm not going to keep moving forward in my growth. I'm dealing with heavy layers of guilt that aren't getting lighter. I'm not lightening my guilt. I'm intensifying my guilt. That's what the word term naked means, right? And second point in definition, naked, unarmed, and what? Defenseless. I have no defense for my own mistakes. I can't stop my addiction.
Because you're in this constant loop of lies.
Yeah.
You have nothing to anchor you.
Yeah.
And this is why people that are isolated are the most in danger of falling. Because when the scripture says what? Iron sharpens iron. If you don't have people that are godlike or fighting to pursue the most excellent way to build on their virtues, if you're not surrounding yourself with those people, you have the only thoughts you have to balance off of are what? Your own. And that's when you fall into your sin. And then you keep thinking about your thoughts long enough, you believe them. And that is what insanity is. You start believing the lies that in the narrative your mind keeps telling you. How many people do that? You're only listening to one voice, and it's your voice.
And that's your opinion.
And then all of a sudden you swear it's right. And you can see people that, listen, it's almost like delusional people with the Bible and worse. The people that are isolated and they got the Bible, they're actually worse because they believe they got the Spirit's with them. And you can't tell them nothing. Because they have these blocks and these walls up because they think they were taught in the 90s and they got the doctrine and they start creating their own doctrine off of what they were taught.
I got this too. I try to make it a little more. I can never be challenged. This issue isn't getting information from the classical sources. The issue is, why can't you put it to the stress test and allow it to be challenged? That's the insanity. The insanity is no one can challenge my poor performance. No one can challenge my opinion. No one can challenge my distortion. Listen, we're not tripping on people being in work for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. We're not saying we don't want a new path. We don't want some new information. What we want is clarity, the perfecting of what we're reading.
And what I'm saying is you can't walk around here with unchallenged thoughts.
That's the problem.
Unchallenged spiritual thoughts. Walking around here that the Spirit's with you when you're like Tom Hanks and Dan Castaway. Talking to the ball. I'm talking to Wilson. Wilson! Listen, you telling me Jews don't think like this? Israel got their own Wilsons out, spirit, and swear they're in the spirit. I know many people like that. And they'll look at you like, what's wrong with you? How do you not see this?
It's coming.
And you're like, wow, I'm the one that's out the spirit. Who have you thrown this doctrine around and let people chastise you and check you with this thinking pattern?
Or at least stress test.
And my point is this, I'm not even knocking it. It's scary. Because when you're walking around here, not letting people, spiritual people, challenge your thinking, you will go left. And all of a sudden you have these delusions, these lies you tell yourself. How will you ever gain access to the spirit and have a chance of getting to the kingdom living in these lies? You put yourself in a significant disadvantage. And the sad thing is there's Israelites that work and live every day and they're not isolated and they still don't live their life by pursuing the greatest good.
Because they insulate themselves.
So whether you're
most people-
physically away from people,
Yeah.
or you're here with people and you insulate from people that are right near you. It's the same problem. Keep going, though.
No, but I'm naked and bare. I'm defenseless because amongst the people, I insulate myself by saying that's their way, it's not my way. Or they're gifted and they're just a gifted person. They just have in their DNA, they're just born with it. I make statements, I make speeches that are demotivating speeches. Do you ever notice the people that are always arguing are always the least motivated?
Wait, I was going to say this. I'm sorry. I'll let you.
There's a commonality with arguing, and lack of motivation. Because when you try to motivate them, you try to teach them, try to help them, they argue with you so that you don't bother them. Because if you bother them, you have to do more what? More effort, more work.
And the
More
naked,
intensity.
and the scary thing, the nakedness is a reflection of how many spiritual skills you lack. When he says you're naked, you lack virtues. And you lack the capacity to be successful in spiritual endeavors.
And
The
that-
more things you fail in, the more endeavors and virtues you don't have, that's what makes you naked. The more things you don't have never learned to fix and overcome in yourself, the more things you haven't pursued to seek people that can do things better than you, you're naked. You're a fully clothed naked person. But a lot of us are fully clothed naked people that don't want to be around people that remind us that we're not good enough. Because that's what it takes. And it goes back into that perspective we went over in Proverbs 10. Do you look at life? What lens do you choose to look at life? Do I sit back here and surround myself around people who can do things with more spiritual efficiency and skill and excellence than me? And do I think that's a good thing in my life? Or do I look at people that can do things spiritually better than me and look at it as a paring down of my spirit? That will tell you a lot about who you are as a man or a woman. Do you look at people that outwork you and can outproduce you and say, man, I want to be like that person and give myself and be excellent in that particular thing like that person is? Or do I stay away from them because I don't like looking bad? If you walk around not trying to look bad, you're wicked. How about that? You're wicked. And that's an evil archetype that you can't afford to play with.
Because that not wanting to look bad is
God. And that pride is the delusion. It's fueled by your delusion. Because you don't want to see. You don't want to be in a light. You don't want people to see you for who you are.
And the funny part is there's going to be shame from looking weak initially, and there's going to be shame from not changing. They're both shames.
God.
And we, nobody's just walking around waking up spiritual and being on point. And I'm just the man. It's taking hours and hours of correction, hours and hours of personal study to fix a problem, and hours of failure until you get it right. And that's the blessing the Most High gives us, the time to go through this process.
Now let's go back into this paragraph, finish this paragraph off because we're getting late. So it says, this is Philo, on page 497, paragraph 66. Now this man Moses practiced beyond all other men, at least all other men of his time. He had a capacity to do something a lot of men couldn't do, right? That which is most important and most indispensable virtue in a chief high priest. There's a certain mentality that is indispensable. You have to have the capacity to look for the most spiritually excellent way to do things. That's indispensable if you want to lead. If you want to achieve anything in Christ, you have to have that capability to always look for the most excellent approach to fighting your battle. Not the comfortable or convenient approach, but let me look for the most excellent approach. You have to have it if you're a leader. If you're going to produce works that will bring anything back to you of value. So he says, Moses practiced beyond all of the men that which is the most important and most indispensable virtue in a chief priest, namely piety, partly because he was endowed with most admirable natural qualities and philosophy. He had ability. He had skills. Then it said, receiving his nature like a fertile field, cultivated and improved it by the contemplation of excellent and beautiful doctrine. He didn't rest on his laurels. He kept looking for more excellent approaches to build on his or her virtues.
Which is the classical statement you made
For years.
the classical statement you for years, since the beginning,
I know.
is why are you not maxing yourself out?
That
was the initial foundation of this class.
And then you know what I've been told for years? You're overboard. It don't got to be that way. It don't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way because you want to live the life that you live.
Right.
You want to live in the delusion and give half-ass effort and think half-ass effort brings about bountiful blessings.
Right.
That's the lie. I've been told that for literally 15, 20 years. You're overboard. That's extreme. But literally great men in Christ looked for the most excellent way. I'm not making myself to be excellent because I am flawed, but I'm going to tell you what, I do know this. You better look for the most excellent virtue and an excellent way to attain your virtue because that's how you get the Most High's attention. And this is why so many people don't get the Most High's attention because they don't seek the most excellent way like Moses did. And we're going to read later on how a few handpicked men actually got the Most High's attention. Like when we read it multiple weeks ago, how David was so on point. The Most High forwarded his blessings. He forwarded his blessings and gave him more before he put the works in. Because he earned that. He earned that trust. Everybody wants the attention and the blessing, but don't know how to get it. We're talking about how to get it. So, now let me finish this real quick. It said, cultivated and improved it by the contemplation of excellent and beautiful doctrine, and did not dismiss it, meaning he didn't give up or let up the gas on the application of the most excellent methods, did not dismiss it until all the fruits of virtue were brought to perfection in him in respect to words and actions. So what does that mean? His reality, his words and actions were all what? Aligned. And he didn't stop the pursuit of the excellent virtue until the fruit of his works grew to its full season. You see how all this ties in? Then it says, therefore he and a few other men was dear to the Most High. Everybody wants to be loved by the Lord. Everybody says they want to cleave to the Lord. But who is looking for the most excellent way to please the Most High? Who is looking to operate and perfect the most excellent virtues that we have to, or that the Most High has to offer? Who has dedicated himself to do it the best way, the most spiritual way, and to not stop until whatever works you're putting into grows to fruition? Because if you do that and you dedicate yourself to all the fruits of the Spirit, not just the ones you like, but all the fruits of the Spirit, then you will become dear to the Most High. So he says, therefore he and a few other men was dear to the Most High and devoted to the Most High. That's what devotion looks like.
That's devotion. Wow.
Devotion looks like you sitting back here and finding the most excellent way to build on your virtue. So everybody who thinks they're devoted, you're lying, because you're a liar. And it has to be spoken this harshly, because maybe you'll come out of your delusion and allow your mind, your outlook to be fertile, and give you an opportunity for this word to actually grow and really blossom in your life. And it says, therefore he and a few other men was dear to the Most High and devoted to the Most High, being inspired by heavenly love. Because that's what love looks like. You know, the scripture says, love me, follow my commandments. But what is the commandments? The commandments is the love, not just for the scriptures, but the perfecting, the looking for the perfection and the excellence in every possible spiritual method. That's love. If you really love the Lord, you'll find the best way to serve him and build in every virtue in your life. Just gonna let this go. I'm gonna let this see. Do you love him? You say you love him, you say you're devoted, then are you looking for the best, most effective spiritual approach to please him? If you're not, then you're not devoted and you don't love him like you think you do, which lets you know you're in a delusion, you're living a lie. It's how many people say they love the Lord and they don't seek the most excellent methods to please him. Everybody in this room ain't. So we're all liars, like David said. Didn't David say all men are liars? Because every one of us in some form or fashion is giving half-assed effort and are not pursuing the most excellent way to study, be humble, serve, dedicate, sacrifice, be selfless. Because if we were, we'd be looking for the harder advice, the more spiritually challenging advice. And we'd look for that versus mediocrity like most of us shoot for. Therefore he, with a few other men, was dear to the Most High and devoted to the Most High, being inspired by heavenly love and honoring the Father of the universe above all things, and being in return honored by him in a particular manner. That's what it takes to be honored. I'm going to leave it at that. Is your water tuning in? Truly take this class to heart. We will have a part 6 because it's needed. We haven't gotten halfway through this class. The water, Shamsuan's, I don't know if he got a part 7 with this came on, but he'll be teaching on Wednesday. And if you guys have any questions, you can email us at isbhpk@yahoo.com. The water and shalom, everybody.